It was New Year's Eve, but not the loud, noisy, kind people post on social media. It was quiet, focused, and powerful, the kind of night where you don't celebrate the past, but think about the future. And as the clock moved closer to midnight, one idea kept repeating in my mind, that the new year itself never changes your life, only decisions do. And while people around the world were counting seconds, I was counting years ahead, thinking about how visionaries like Elon Musk don't make wishes, they design futures. And in that moment, I imagined a future version of myself standing calm, disciplined, and clear, alongside a future life partner, not as a real person, but as a symbol of alignment, growth, and shared vision. Because success without the right mindset and support is empty. And right before midnight, I made a silent promise to stop chasing comforts, start choosing discipline, and become the kind of man who builds his life intentionally. Understanding that this night was not about celebration, not about Elon Musk, and not even about a future wife, but about deciding who I would become from this moment forward. Most people think success comes from motivation, but high performers know motivation fades and only structure survives. And this is where people like Elon Musk think differently. Because while others celebrate the new year with noise, he focuses on environment, clarity, and long-term thinking, understanding that silence is not emptiness, but space for vision. And that night I realized luxury is not about money or lifestyle, but about having control over your time, your focus, and your decisions, because when your mind is calm, you can see further, plan better, and choose smarter. And that is why the most successful people step back during moments like New Year's, not to escape life, but to redesign it, asking hard questions about direction, discipline, and sacrifice, knowing that the future is not built by excitement, but by boring, consistent actions repeated every day. And that realization slowly changed the way I looked at success, relationships, and the kind of life worth building. What separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones is not intelligence, but patience, because people inspired by minds like Elon Musk are willing to think in decades while others think in days. And that New Year night made me understand that real progress feels slow, lonely, and often invisible. Yet it is powerful, because when you commit to a long-term vision, stop chasing instant approval and start building real value. And this mindset applies not only to business or success, but also to relationships. Because the right partner is not someone who distracts you from your goals, but someone who respects your grind, understands your silence, and believes in growth even when results are not visible. And that is why vision-driven people are careful about who they allow into their future, knowing that every choice either compounds forward or pulls them backward. And once you understand this, you stop rushing life and start designing it with intention. That night I understood that love without direction slowly turns into distraction, because ambition demands time, focus, and sacrifice. And not everyone is built to walk that path with you, which is why the idea of a future wife is not about romance alone, but about alignment, values, and shared vision. Someone who understands that late nights are not neglect, but investment. That silence is not distance, but focus, and that growth sometimes looks boring from the outside. And when two people move in the same direction with patience and respect, love becomes a source of strength instead of pressure. And this mindset removes fear from relationships, because you stop chasing approval and start choosing partnership, knowing that the right connection multiplies your energy, while the wrong one slowly drains it. As the clock moved closer to midnight, the energy of the moment became heavier, not with excitement, but with responsibility, because this was the point where most people cheer while a few people choose. And I realized that transformation does not begin with big announcements, but with quiet decisions made when no one is watching. Decisions to wake up earlier, work longer, think deeper, and walk away from habits, people, and comforts that no longer fit the future you want. And in that silent countdown, I understood that discipline is not punishment, but self-respect, and that the life you dream about on New Year's night is built later on ordinary days when motivation is gone and only commitment remains after midnight passed. I realized that New Year is not a reset button, but a mirror, because it shows you exactly who you've been willing to become. And people who admire thinkers like Elon Musk understand that progress is not magical, but mechanical, built through systems, habits, and standards that don't change with mood. And this is where most people fail, because they want results without structure and confidence without consistency. While high performers focus on small rules they never break, whether it is how they manage time, protect focus, or choose who has access to their energy. And once you understand this, life becomes simpler but harder because excuses disappear and responsibility takes their place, pushing you to either level up or stay honest about where you truly stand. The biggest realization of that New Year night was that the celebration was never the point, because the real shift happens after the lights go off and life returns to normal. And that is where most people quietly return to old patterns, while a few stay loyal to the promises they made in silence. And I understood that success, love, and respect are side effects of becoming a disciplined person, not goals to be chased directly, which means you stop asking for motivation and start demanding standards from yourself, standards about how you work, how you speak, how you treat your time, and how seriously you take your future. Because in the end, no one remembers your New Year wishes. They only feel the impact of the person you consistently choose to be. Looking back, I understood that this story was never about Elon Musk, a future wife, or a New Year's celebration, but about ownership. Because the moment you stop blaming time, luck, or circumstances and start taking full responsibility for who you're becoming, everything changes. And this is the mindset that quietly separates leaders from followers, people who build from people who consume, and dreamers from doers. So if this new year you want something different, don't ask for an easier life. Build a stronger version of yourself, one with discipline, clarity, and patience, because the future doesn't reward noise, it rewards consistency. And if this message connected with you, take a moment to reflect. Drop a comment about what kind of person you are choosing to become this year. And if you're serious about growth, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay connected. Because this journey is not about motivation. It's about transformation.